Ready to roll?
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've reached the hour of 3 o'clock. This is Thursday, January 15th, 2026, and this is the meeting of the Board of Directors of the Woodland-Davis Clean Water Agency. Welcome. Glad to have everyone with us today. Clerk, why don't you take the roll for the record, please?
Chair Tom Scudder.
Present.
Vice Chair Josh Chapman.
Here.
Director David Moreno.
Here.
Director Donna Neville is on here.
Congratulations, Mayor Neville.
Director Andrew Wilkins. And UC Davis Rep. Courtney Doss is absent.
All right, thank you. I'll let the record reflect that we have a quorum this afternoon. And we'll move on to agency business. And item 1 is the approval of the agenda and the following consent items. Just 2 items, the minutes of our former meeting on September 18 and the approval of the Treasurer's quarterly report. First of all, is there any public comment on any of these items? Hearing none, we'll return it to the board. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion and second by Vice Chair Chapman and Member Director Moreno to approve the consent calendar as stated and the agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Because
Have
Director,
I made a big mistake here?
not a big one, but since Director Neville's on the phone today under the Brown Act emergency circumstances exemption, we do need to have all the votes by roll call, please.
All votes, okay. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll call again for the vote?
Yes. Chair Tom Scudder.
Aye.
Vice Chair Josh Chapman.
Aye.
Director Donna Neville. Director David Moreno.
Aye.
All right, the record will reflect then it was a unanimous vote, and thank you, Council, for making sure we did this right. All right, that brings us to our second item, which is public comment. This is the time reserved for comments relating to the operation of the agency or any aspect of it that is not otherwise on our agenda today. Does anyone wish to speak?
No comments received by the agency.
Thank you. Okay, there being none, we'll consider that item concluded and move to item 3, the Woodland-Davis Clean Water Agency General Manager Update and Operations Manager Update.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Tim Bush, General Manager for Woodland-Davis Clean Water Agency. Stan Gritcher was not here today, so I'll be covering the entire update for us.
Okay, I was looking for him. Thank you.
Yeah, he didn't quite make it. So usual topics that we have, the point in time look at water supply outlook, what do we think it might be going forward, update on long-term water supply, where we are at with our capital improvements, the usual operations update, and then also where we are with the electrical work that we have going on. So first, water supply outlook. You've seen this graphic before. This is the 8-station Northern Sierra Index. It's basically a good look at overall precipitation in the northern part of California, which is mostly what we care about. So on this graphic, the top of the shaded area is the 30-year running average. In the bottom left, that starts October 1. So these all start on the water year beginning October 1 through following September 30th. The different colored lines are different colored years. Every day it gets updated. We're the darker blue line. It's kind of hard to see that it's blue, but the one that ends at current 32.8. So we're at right now, this is from 2 days ago, we're actually at about 149% of average so far. So this year it's been kind of a weird year, but we're actually quite a bit above average right now for Northern Sierra total precipitation amount. But I'm always a little bit negative. It's not supposed to rain or snow for the next 2 weeks plus, so by the time it rains again, we will be probably back to average. But hopefully it'll be a good rest of the winter for us. Next slide, please. So look real quickly at the two of the big reservoirs a little bit north of us, Oroville. Same thing, it starts October 1. Top of the shaded area is the 30-year average. The solid darker blue line is every day it's updated. So as of 2 days ago, it's about 2.7 million acre feet, roughly 80% full. Very high, very much above average for this time of year.
Pretty dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic.
That's not a curve, that's a straight north.
Yeah, we've got the storms we had a week and a half or so ago really boosted water storage. They've actually been releasing some water to make room for future storms in the reservoir, but I think they're stopping that as of like yesterday or today. Next slide, please.
Heading down to Davis again. More crime down in that town.
Lake Shasta is a very similar situation, quite a bit above average for this time of year and also roughly about 80% full. So I think so far from the two big reservoirs and overall precipitation, things are looking very good for us so far this year. And then except for the snowpack. So the snowpack level, this one is a bit harder to see because it's smaller, but the top is Northern California, middle is Central, bottom is South. Northern and Central California are behind schedule in terms of snowpack for this time of year. Northern's about 67%, Central about 90, South is a bit above at 114. And so we're tracking not so great for snow. I think that's mainly because, some of the earlier storms were pretty warm and came down mostly as rain in the mountains. So hopefully that'll change because it's kind of really reservoir storage plus snowpack dictates how good of a year we're going to have this year. But overall, things are looking pretty good. Definitely need some more storms in February and March. So long-term water supply, we are working on this. There is an item for the board to consider today on the supplemental EIR with ESA to take care of that. And then we're working with Solicitor on kind of a 25-year agreement. Long-term agreement is beneficial for us in that we don't have to go back and do this again. We spend quite a bit of time every year and money permitting these annual water contracts. So the longer-term agreement, the better. We get it in place, we get through permitting, and we're done. What we're looking at doing is roughly, it has not changed from what we talked about before, but really 2,000 acre-feet for winter water transfer option, and then a 6,000 acre-feet for summer water transfer option. Both of those are option agreements that we would take the option only if we actually need it, and then in years that we don't, we just simply don't exercise the option. The agreement with ESA for the supplemental EIR will give us other long-term options. We're working to get us the ability to contract, or at least complete CEQA for the ability to contract with any Sac River settlement contract for summer water supply. So we're not going to be locked into any one or two potential people we can purchase water from. Next slide, please. Moving on to capital improvement. So this one's been on for a little while, the tiniest erosion control project possible. We have a little bit of situation at the intake. We fixed our erosion control problem in the river itself, but there's a bit of a mismatch where water leaves our parking lot to go down to the rock below, and it falls onto dirt, and then the rock is a little bit off to the side. It's probably like a $10,000 or $20,000 fix. We just need to go out there when it's actually raining and see where the water falls and fix that. So that's still on the list of things to do. We are replacing our intake meter. Ben knows a bit more about that than I do. But basically the meter hasn't been working very well for us, and we're working to secure a better quality meter that will last us longer. I think they struggle a bit with the raw water and the very variable turbidity that it receives, that it's sometimes relatively clear, sometimes like chocolate milk, and I think they just don't last that long. Another thing we're working on is we met with Division of Drinking Water on working towards a long-term approval for the use of alum. Alum is the primary coagulant that we use at the water treatment plant. The plant was designed and permitted with ferric. We stopped using ferric and switched to alum about 4 years ago. I think we did talk with the board about this at that time. The ferric stopped being available in the Western United States. So we had no choice. We switched to alum. Turns out, I think all of the other water treatment plants in our neighborhood are on alum. We applied for and obtained a temporary permit at that time 4 years ago. The temporary permit has no ending date. So theoretically, we could stay on the temporary permit forever. As the agency, I kind of feel like, well, 10 years from now, you may have different people, and they may be like, why have you been on a temporary permit for 10, 15 years?
Let them ask 10 years from now.
Yeah. So we're working with the board. They came back and said, well, you need to run your water treatment plant at 30 MGD for 2 weeks. That does not work for us. Our water treatment plant produces water only at the rate that our partners need. The highest we've ever ran, I think, is around 28 MGD. And in wintertime, like now, we're running at like 15-ish. So it's just not, we have no place to put the rest of the water if we're running at full blast. So we're working with the board to try to get some reasonable accommodation to that. And I think at this point, we're waiting to hear back from them that maybe we run at 30 MGD for a few hours, a day for a month or something. So we'll try to work that out. But
I want to understand what you just said. You say we're overproducing water based on demand.
no, we only produce water based on demand.
What is the issue then? Please
The
restate it.
state, in order to permit alum for our permanent use, they want us to run the water treatment plant at 30 MGD at full capacity to prove that we can treat water at full capacity. The problem we have then is that we have no place to put the extra water. So right now we're taking 15 million gallons per day. If the plant were running at 30, we have no place to put the other 15 million gallons.
Can we do this test on July 4th?
We could, but even in summer, we have difficulty running that high. Our last summer, we had very little restrictions to water rights, and we ran it around 27 MGD mostly. We
Is this a
could,
negotiable requirement that they're trying to put on us?
we're trying to get them to be negotiable, yes. Yeah, that we can run at 30 MGD for maybe 4 or 6 hours a day, but not all day, because the partners have storage, we can fill tanks. But we don't want to open fire hydrants and let them run for, weeks at a time.
It'll drive the citizens crazy if we do.
Yes. So we're trying to work it out with them that, we can treat water. We've proven over the past 4 years that with alum, we treat water in all kinds of river conditions, all kinds of demands. It's been perfect the entire time. There's got to be a way to mathematically make that work. So it's an ongoing action item with the board. Our fallback is we'll just stay on the temporary permit forever, but that seems kind of wrong to me. So more to come on that. The other thing we're working on is we did initiate the filter re-rating study. The board approved that, I think last June, quite a while ago already. So that's underway right now. So we're working with the State Water Board on that as well. Meeting coming up with them on some technical questions that they have. And then two other smaller things we have going on is a point of interconnection, the Davis point of interconnection at Woodlands, meter replacement there, and also a valve repair. So operations update, currently in December, or I guess not currently, but in December, we operated around 14.7 million gallons per day on average. Woodland's taking around 9 million gallons per day. They've been injecting at 2 of the aquifer storage and recovery wells. That's why they're a bit higher. Davis, a little over 5 million gallons per day in Davis at just under 1 million gallons per day. We continue to meet all of our requirements. All of our testing turns out really well. We update our agency website. We have been operating under our primary water rights since November 5. And we did actually exercise our water transfer agreement option this year. We did end up using water from Saltwater Water District from November 1 through November 5 this year.
So we got a fully credit for our option, 50,000 was it?
Yes. Yeah, we paid $50,000 for the option. We spent around $66,000 in water in those 5 days.
It's still good to have it.
Yep. That was needed, yeah.
And this is the backup we're talking about for a 25-year.
Yes. Yeah, we would get the option in winter, so instead of having to do the annual contract, we just simply make a phone call. And then in summer, we had the option in summer also, not every summer, but when there's a long duration term 91 curtailment or the 25% Shasta critically or the 50% Shasta critically year, we can call them and say we need X number of acre feet, up to
Are there
6,000.
any qualifications on this, or can we use it any time in the year for any reason we choose to?
For the most part with Saltwater, that's true. They do have some operating limitations, like after, and I don't entirely understand the system, but the way they've explained it to me, as I understand it, when it starts raining, their dam actually overflows relatively quickly. After the dam starts to overflow, they can no longer send us water in winter. But that typically happens after it's been raining a bit and term 91 is then no longer in effect. So there's the tiniest risk that it's been raining and the curtailment's still in effect, that they couldn't deliver us water, but
I'm just interested in having maximum flexibility in terms of the exercise of the option.
yeah, no, we have maximum flexibility for that. In summertime, they grow rice primarily, their farmers grow rice primarily. As I understand it, the reservoir provides somewhere around half the amount of water the rice growers need. So the rice growers are used to supplementing with well water. So if we're using some of the water in summer, they'll tell the rice growers to use their groundwater or fallow the fields that year. So the main thing so ESA will work on the CEQA document. One thing we'll work out on our end is how to handle long-term pricing. How to handle long-term pricing, because we don't want to be locked into a set dollar per acre foot for either winter or summer. Every year will be somewhat dynamic, and there are models that we can look to on how to handle dynamic pricing in a long-term agreement.
Okay, we'll get a full briefing on this in another agenda item, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So continuing on with operations update, the agency is working with Jacobs on increasing our power reliability. As you know, we've had some electrical challenges over there. So a couple of things that we're working on is upsizing the surge arresters to be able to handle higher surges coming from the PG&E lines. actually putting a surge arrestor on the PG&E incoming feed to maybe have 2 of them in parallel, or in series, I guess. And then monitoring incoming power from PG&E, that's something that we wanted to do because working with PG&E, they tend to not agree with us when we tell them that there's power challenges from them, either changing voltages or just drops. That way we'll have a track record that we can look to and say, hey, look, these things changed on this date. We did receive a revised report invoice from our 2024 electrical incident. The agency has agreed to pay for the diesel that was used during that outage and the maintenance that generated right around $280,000. And then there was another notice of uncontrollable circumstances from the July power outage. That one was much shorter. And I think we just received right before this meeting information on that. I saw the email come in, but I have not looked at it yet. And then on a staffing change note, Ben Silva, to my right, has just been promoted to our project manager position. He's been with the agency for several years. I don't know exactly how many, but a lot of years. He can speak to that in a minute. And then Fernando Ortega, who is in the audience today, has been promoted to maintenance supervisor, Woodland resident. Chris Molina, who I have not yet met, is leading our operations team. And then Jacobs is fully supporting. So Ken is still with the agency, or still with Jacobs, fully supporting the transition amongst everybody.
Well, congratulations to those who've moved forward in their careers. Good work.
And that concludes the operation update. Can take any questions.
Thank you. Board members, any questions related to these?
Thank you.
No? Have any member of the public wish to ask any questions about the operations of the treatment facility? Nope? Okay. Well, thank you very much for the comprehensive report, as always. Fascinating. All right, well, that takes us to agenda item 4. Item 4 is the presentation by Jacobs of the fiscal year 2025 annual report. Ben, are you delivering that?
Yes.
I figured you're behind the microphone.
Yep.
That could be a tip-off.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ben Silva, Chief Plant Operator for the Woodland-Davis Regional Water Treatment Facility. Thank you, Chair Stallard and members of the board. Today I'll be sharing our 2024 to 2025, which is our contract year 9, annual report regarding our plant performance, water deliveries, our challenges, and our new contract year 10 and 11 priorities. This year, because the contract year ends in July, this year constitutes, some of contract year 10 and some of contract year 11. So I'll go over those priorities. But before we cover those, you can go to the next one. Before we cover those topics, I do want to take a moment to highlight our safety. Safety culture is non-negotiable at our facility, all Jacobs facilities, but our facility is the one I know. We accrue hundreds of hours at unprotected heights, in confined spaces, over the river, on a boat in the river. We're put in a lot of unsafe situations as plant operators, so we have to approach every situation safely. All of that said, we had 0 recordable injuries again in contract year 9.
Do you work at all with the Woodland Fire Department, because we do have confined space qualification with the Woodland Fire personnel?
We have before. I can't say we have in the last few years.
Never hurts to have an exercise every now and then.
No, it doesn't. You're right about that. Yep. So next slide. So this is our CY9 team structure. The main point I want to emphasize here is capability and continuity. Our team brought 86 years of combined experience. We also had, during CY9, continue to have, 2 California T5s. There are 300 in California. So for our facility to have 2, that puts us in a really good place in terms of our bench and capability. Of course, our team doesn't operate in isolation. I also want to highlight the partnership we have in Stan Grisco, who couldn't be here today, but Tim Bush, Lindsay Smith, and Michelle Mitchell, who we work closely with every day. Next slide. This table summarizes the CY9 flows. I know that's a lot of data on the left. You can ignore it. Our total finished water production was 6.3 billion gallons in CY9. which is a 321 million gallon decrease from CY8. July was our peak month, and Chair Stallard, like you mentioned, July 4th is our highest demand day, but it's only 27.2 million gallons all day.
That's because Angel didn't have a party this year.
Yeah. Next. You can go to the next slide, Michelle. In CY9, we met all federal, state, and contractual water quality requirements, like Tim mentioned, which is a credit to our on-site staff, of course, but also the agency personnel and Jacob's technical support. Steady execution every day is what we do at our facility. Like all major plants of this scale, there are challenges to overcome. As you guys know, there's the ongoing PG&E challenges, which Tim captured, as well as the flow meters. On the flow meters, we had 2 major flow meter failures in CY9. Deliveries were not impacted because we do have redundancy, but replacement is our top priority. We are also upgrading to more robust models, and we're coordinating with Davis to replace the partner-facing meter first, targeting early this quarter. In addition, at the end of November, I'm sure you guys remember the storm, we did have a major increase in flow and increase in volume in the river, which knocked out 3 of our joint intake log booms. Log booms are floating barriers that protect our raw water intake facility by intercepting storm-driven debris before it could damage our equipment. The next morning, staff mobilized, inspected the fish screen, traveled downriver by boat, and they recovered those booms on an isolated levee bank and fully repaired it by the end of day. You can go to the next.
Glad you could recover them.
Me too. It was like serendipity. Yeah. You can go to the next slide. Beyond on-site operations, we also leveraged specialized Jacobs groups, which strengthen reliability, performance, and compliance. First of which is the technical service group. This is the group who initiated the filter re-rating study to improve plant production capacity. But in addition to that, they work with us continuously. In CY9 specifically, they helped us develop updated and modernized operational strategies. Next. Regional maintenance team. So we have a roving maintenance team in Jacobs. We have several projects within an hour of here. What that allows is a big support team. These gentlemen came out and supported us with heavy maintenance throughout CY9. One of the things they did was re-engineer our existing high voltage vault with a submersible pump, which helps maintain waterless condition and reduce reliability risk. Next. Regulatory change is accelerating in California. Jacobs has compliance specialists who support our facility. In CY9, a number of new regulations were being developed, as you guys are probably aware, and they came up with up-to-date strategies to maintain full compliance as these requirements evolve. We also continue to refine our in-facility AI tools, which provide operations staff with real-time monitoring, operator suggestions, and calculations. It helps them make data-informed decisions. And our priorities. So in 2026, where contract year 10 will conclude and contract year 11 will begin, our priorities will be primarily maintenance focused. We are going to initiate the filter re-rating study, hopefully sooner than later. As Tim mentioned, we have a meeting coming up with the state where we'll hash out those final technical questions. My hope is to initiate it soon. Our staff is more or less briefed, prepared, and we're all eager to get it underway. We're also going to complete our chemical storage tank condition assessments, and we're going to perform clear well interior assessments as well, inspections. And finally, I want to close by recognizing our on-site staff, some of whom are here today. In 2025 alone, yeah. Yes. In 2025, the team worked 19,790 hours collectively. They completed 200 plus hours of continuing education units. They achieved 3 internal promotions, not including myself, and they represented the facility at a national conference and brought expertise back to Woodland-Davis. Operating a drinking water plant is 24/7 work. Our team lives that responsibility. They give up nights, weekends, holidays with their family, so that every time that Davis, Woodland, and UC Davis turn the tap on, clean drinking water comes out. I'm proud of my team, and I'm grateful for the agency's partnership. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. That's a great report. Questions of Jacobs? Members?
No questions, just comments. I'd like to thank your report. Thank you for your, congratulations on the promotion and also the other staff members who are here. Just awesome just to get this report. Very concise, brief, data, pictures. Seems like the team is very united and works well with each other. And it's something that you hardly get to see at a staff level, right, during these presentations. So kudos to you and your team for working, and we're very proud of you guys serving Woodland. Also Davis, but primarily Woodland. And Yolo County. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the audience? Oh, you have a question.
Just a couple quick questions. What is filter re-rating?
So under your typical subpart H or surface water drinking rules, you're given a permitted quantity of water that can pass through a filter per minute. Typically, it's around 6 gallons per minute per square foot of the filter. So we have 900 square feet of filter on site, 6 gallons per minute. You do the math. It's 31, I know it is, 31.1 million gallons per day, sorry. The reason that exists is because somebody went in and they found that filter media performs optimally at that flow rate. You have the most contact time with whatever contaminants are passing through it, and you remove them. A filter re-rating study, if we can prove that our filter in our plant is robust enough to handle additional hydraulic loading, then we could output more water without having to build more filters.
Got it. Okay. And I have a couple, just this isn't my world. Can you go to the first slide? There's a couple questions. I'm just curious what they are. Like, does I'm like zero tag in, tag out? What is that? Nope. Keep going.
Keep-
there. Numerous lockout, tag out. What is
Sure. So
I'm just curious what these
a
things are.
lockout
Yeah.
tag out procedure is something that is performed. It takes time, but it's industry standard. But what it is let's say a mechanic wants to work on a specific piece of equipment. You don't just turn the equipment off. A lot of times you have to do physical disconnections or other safety procedures within our infrastructure to ensure that there's no possibility that that equipment energizes while the employee is working on it.
Well. Okay.
All right. Any additional questions from the board? Nope. And anyone from the audience have a question? How about you who work with Jacobs? You got a question for Ben? You want to ask it out here? How did he get up here? God only knows. Good question. And anything on the phone? Or?
I don't think Ben is ready to retire yet.
I want to say I appreciate you guys recognizing all of this, and I can tell you do. It's obvious that you appreciate what we do. It's nice to be done. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We do appreciate you. You know, it wouldn't happen without you. So it's a good relationship. I check in regularly with Tim, and he's happy. So if Tim's happy, I'm happy. I do have one question, and I'm going to ask my colleagues. What do you think about the idea of us having a little 10th anniversary commemoration of this? This thing was born in conflict and struggle, and now it's smooth and doing the job. I think we ought to suggest to our staff to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think frankly, and if it's an opportunity to also put the word out about what's all is being accomplished with this agency, those statistics about how many millions of gallons of water you've treated in the plant since we started, I think those are interesting facts. And people now realize, you know, how much groundwater's gotten corrupted around particularly agricultural regions because of fertilizer application. So it's nice to appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Tim, you think you can figure something out?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's something we always tend to forget about is that, for our 10th anniversary is coming up in June. So we can set something up
Let's
over at the plant, yeah.
find at an appropriate time, doesn't have to be exact day, but it's really something. 10 years has gone by, and it seems fast to me, but I suspect if you're doing that water testing every day and everything else, it still seems like 10 years. Okay? So
Yeah, and I would just say, I agree. I mean, when I first came on this board, you drive by that place all the time. And you don't really, for me, had any clue what happened inside that plant. And I went and got the tour. I don't know if anyone was here when I went there, and I was amazed. When people have got all my accounts come on, I'm like, you got to go to the treatment plant, man. You have no idea what they do out there and how they do it. So I think it is. I'm not sure what the public access is or not, but I do think, and I would second Tom's motion to have Tim throw us a big party.
let's make it a sense of the board. It doesn't have to be a formal motion. Is that okay?
I was making a joke.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't think it'd be bad to even consider painting on one of those tanks. whatever it is, 16 to 20, 26, 10 years of delivering water for the people of Yolo County, or at least Woodland-Davis. So, okay, well, why don't you, Tim, think about that. I'll work with you on it. If anybody else wants to work on it, speak up.
Yep, we got that down as an action item.
Okay. It's a chance to create a little recognition and attention for something that's so important and fundamental to the lives of the people in these communities. Okay, that concludes the discussion on that one. And now we're talking mid-year budget update, 2025, 2026. And Tim, are you doing that? Or do we have
Yes, that will be me. So mid-year budget update, overall, everything looks really good. Kind of quick snapshot of where we are. I know the budget table was sent out in your board packet. So just kind of a quick overview. Our approved budget for this year is $21.77 million. Pretty evenly split between operations and maintenance and then debt service. Almost 12 million operations these days, and debt service is 10 million. That will stay that way through the duration of the loans. What we have available to us now is our actual expenses through end of November, what we think happened through end of December, and then where we're thinking we're going to be through the end of the fiscal year.
Tim, that debt service does have an end date, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's different for Woodland and Davis, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Woodland has a 20-year loan, so we're about halfway done. So we got 10 and a half maybe years left on that. And then Davis has a 30-year loan, so they've got about 20 and a half years remaining.
Sorry to hear that. Okay, thank you.
So a couple of the items that we only have decreases, we don't really have increases this time around. So that's some good news. So kind of the major decreases that we have, we are underspending the fixed portion of the O&M contract or the DBO contract a little bit. That's what we pay Jacobs for fixed expenses, primarily because some of the indices for tracking costs are different than what we thought they were going to be. So we're tracking to save a bit of money in that, almost $80,000. We are about $930,000 under budget on electricity at this point. A couple of reasons. One, we were intentionally a bit conservative in forecasting electricity costs because it's our first year on WAPA. We didn't really quite know. It's not like PG&E. We get about 6 bills every month, and everything's kind of an a la carte charge. And we weren't quite sure. We also have 3 different rates. So we weren't quite sure how things were going to play out the first year or two. So we were intentionally conservative on that. But I think what's also happened is we've also been underbilled. This year, we're pretty sure that we've been underbilled by maybe a couple $100,000. So we're expecting that'll true up at some point.
Do they just use a monthly average and then they drew up?
No, we pay electricity costs. The cents per kilowatt hour is one bill. We pay our scheduler separately. We pay hydroelectric dam maintenance separately. We pay PG&E, transportation
It's
separately.
complicated. in other words.
Yeah, it's complicated. I think each one of their budget items, they send us a separate bill for. But I think as part of their federal employment changes they've went through this year, things got a little bit off track a bit.
Now, are you saying that we're still projecting when it's all resolved that we're still under what we budgeted for
Yes.
this?
Yeah, we'll still be under. I don't think we'll quite be $1 million under budget, but we'll still be under on that.
Thank you.
And we were intentionally conservative just because without really knowing exactly how things were going to work out in the first year of operation, so we made sure we had enough budget. We are underspending pass-through chemicals, partly due to reduced water demand, but I think also we had that when we did our budget, that was when tariffs were coming in, and we weren't quite sure how that was going to affect chemical costs. So we were intentionally conservative on that one as well. And I think we're underspending that by about $250,000. That should track through to the end of the year. Supplemental water purchase, we budgeted $250,000 for that. And that's because we don't know in June, will it be raining in October or November? Some years we will use all of the $250,000, some we use zero. This year we used just under $70,000 because we did exercise the option agreement. So I don't think we'll need to use any more of that this winter. I think we're done with curtailments for some time yet. More budget decreases. So we had budgeted, I probably shouldn't say this with the ESA in the room, but we did budget $500,000 for CEQA because we weren't quite sure what was going to be needed in the scope for a supplemental EIR for the long-term water transfer agreement. The actual budget came in below that, about $238,000 below that, because they were thinking that the CEQA document's a bit more straightforward than we originally anticipated. But we put that budget together without talking to anybody. That was kind of a guess we had. But so we're saving money on that one a bit.
To the dart at the dartboard.
Yeah. Well, it's CEQA documents are typically expensive, so it's, yeah. Our $410,000 in contingency, that's what we maintain in our budget every year. We have not used it in the past 9.5 years. We do not intend to use that this year. That just rolls over in our budget every year in case something comes up.
What are total agency reserves at this point?
In the neighborhood of $8 million.
8 million?
Yeah.
So that's what percentage of our total annual budget?
About 25%.
That's-
25, almost 30%.
That's a healthy reserve.
Yes. Part of it's we have money available in the reserves in case it doesn't rain anymore this year. We have money already in agency's hand to go out and buy water if we need to. I'm thinking we won't need to do that this year, but we spent quite a bit of money in water transfers in 2022, and then the cities refunded the agency shortly after that.
So when we used our Sutter water right, I noticed the bill for that was like $160,000.
That's how much we pay for permitting every year.
Oh, that isn't for actual the water itself.
No, that's just the permitting cost.
So what did we pay for the actual water we used?
We paid, this year we're paying about $67,000 for
$67,000.
5 days of water.
Now, were we taking all of our water for them for those 5 days, or was it supplementing the water we were able?
They were our only source of water for those 5 days. The curtailment, when Turn 91, what happens is our CVP water right, our Sac River Settlement Contract water right, ends October 31.
Yeah.
So if we have not used all of it, it doesn't matter. October 31, we're done with that water right. Our State Water Board water right is subject to Turn 91 curtailment. If that curtailment is continuing after October 31, we have no access to river water.
I mean, literally, they cut us down to zip?
Yes.
I think that's pretty shocking.
Yeah, that's we have a 1994 water right, a very, very junior water right. And that's just a term that all the appropriative water rights, the later water rights have, that if Turn 91 curtailment's in effect, that water right is zero.
So even though we bought it from Conaway Group, we can't access the water we bought from them.
That water we can use anytime, as much as we want between April 1 and October 31, but only during those calendar dates.
That's right, it was a summer water right we
Yep.
bought.
Yeah, so that's why we're looking to the long-term agreement with Southside Water District and have been doing annual agreements
We
with
want
them.
our attorney to do something about this. You got to sue somebody.
We thought we did great.
All right. Well, I think it's just important for us to know exactly where we stand and appreciate the fact that how proactive, Tim, you and your colleagues have been to get that backup water right. And we're going to be talking about that, but
I think it's next on the agenda, yes.
yeah, I'll save my question.
Quick question,
Yes,
can you
Dave.
explain why only in those calendar days that we can use the water rights?
Yeah, so that water right, it's a Sacramento River Settlement Contract water right from when Shasta Dam was constructed. So it's basically water from Shasta only. That water right is controlled by the Bureau of Reclamation, and it's primarily an agricultural water right.
Okay.
So primarily rice growers and other agricultural interests in the area, and partly dealing with dam operations as well. But by Reclamation's definition, it's only April 1 to October 31.
I see, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Very, very interesting. This is an interesting business. Okay.
It is.
Is that the end of the
Yes,
budget
yeah, that
update?
was it. There's no budget increases. That's the good news.
Okay, that is good news.
We're
Thank you
tracking
very
under
much.
budget and no surprises so far.
Okay, now we come to item 6, the meatiest part. Did I ask for public comment on the budget? I did not. Any public comment on it? All right, then the record will reflect that there's no public comment. And we will move on then, of course, to consider the new master consultant services agreement with ESA in order to prepare the supplemental EIR to support the proposed long-term water transfer and authorize you to sign the agreement, right?
Yes. Yeah, so ESA has been our environmental consultant since the beginning of the agency. They actually started on the agency's EIR back in 2007. It was either started or finished in 2007. I don't quite remember. Oh,
Bye-bye.
2005, yeah. Yeah, so ESA has been a consultant for more than 20 years, really since the beginning, even before the official beginning of the agency. We were sort of looking into what's needed for the long-term water transfer agreement, given that our CEQA document is from 2009. It's very much, I guess, old at this point, that we should do a supplemental EIR rather than just an EIR amendment to fully cover what we're doing with the long-term water transfer agreement. Then we got to looking into the actually master agreement we have with ESA. Given that that language is now 20 years old, there's parts of it that are out of date. So we worked together with ESA and with our attorney on getting that agreement updated.
I didn't read this.
So there's a new master agreement with ESA to work with them going forward, and then the task order for the supplemental EIR work. And that again, I mentioned a bit earlier, that's to give us CEQA documentation for a long-term water transfer agreement with South Sutter Water District and also any Sac River settlement contractor. So basically, anybody that has a summer CVP water right like we do, we can reach out to any of them and buy water. That way, it gives us options in summer years, especially when it's a dry year. We may want, for financial reasons, buy from more than one group.
Did we put this out for bid, this contract?
No, we did not.
Okay.
ESA has been our environmental consultant for quite a long time, and they've done excellent work for us. Didn't see the need to do a request for a proposal. I mean, if the board wants us to, we can do that, but I did not do that.
The board did what?
If the board wants us to do a request for proposals, we can certainly do that, but no, we did not do that because they've been under contract for a long time already.
I do appreciate the relationship and the value of a relationship, but because we're governmental, you know, I think sometimes that in a long-term relationship, it's appropriate to.
Yeah, I feel like in this case it's appropriate. We've been working with ESA on multiple, I think this will be our second supplemental EIR. I think we've done 14 amendments to our EIR, and ESA has done all of those, so they very much understand our water rights, the issues that we have with water supply, the world of CEQA. They're experts at that, so I think they're by far the best consultant to work with on it.
Chair Stallard, I'm just going to ask that you talk into the microphone.
Pardon me?
I'm just asking that you talk into the microphone. I can't hear you
Oh,
on
all
the
right.
recording. Thanks.
I want to make sure I can be heard down there in Davis. All right. Go with the recommendation today or put it out there?
I hear your concern, and I appreciate you raising that, and I think that is something that maybe, I'm okay with us, for me personally, moving this forward today and getting this going. I think if there's things like this that pop up again, maybe checking in with the chair, or checking in with the board when it comes in before, to see if that's something that the board wants to do. I do agree with you, Tom, in terms of being government agencies and the work that happens. There is a lot of value in that, and you go through that step, and then it ends up being sometimes the same people. But I think in terms of transparency and the work that we do, it would be helpful. This one here, for the reasons you're saying and the work they've already done on this and understanding of what they're doing, I'm comfortable moving this one forward today.
Is ESA in the audience? I thought I heard nervousness out there on those chairs. I'm sorry. I will. You want to weigh in?
I
Yeah.
I agree, right? I appreciate the effort that's been done here and the working relationship that's been established and the glowing recommendation that's been here. But I see your point, and I agree with what Director Chapman said, is that if these things pop up, I think to cover our backs here, to put it out to bid, even if that is usually the same applicants, and we see it a lot of times. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'll ride with this today, so everybody can relax. But, I always do worry in the public realm that sometimes relationships become too comfortable. And that's why I think it's wise to advertise, let everybody respond, and, you're basically getting check bids as well as perhaps your preferred provider as you go into the process. So it needs to be a fair process whenever we do it, but you can tell we appreciate what you've done for us and apparently what you will be doing for us. But I just think it's incumbent on us to make sure our sheets are always white around here, okay?
Yep, understood.
Can I ask, is this agency held to the same standard with the RFP process in terms of lowest responsive bid? I mean, is that process like we do at the cities, is it still the same where you have to take the lowest bid that's, qualified lowest bid? Or how does that work?
Director Chapman, for items like this for professional services, the agency can contract basically on a sole source basis. There's no requirement that you go out for bid. If it was actually construction, public works, then the agency would have some obligation. But for this type of professional service, you can sole source. And I also hear what Chair Stallard said and what the rest of you are saying. We'll make sure in the future that if something new comes up, that we talk with the board first before letting out a contract. But as Mr. Bush said, ESA's been with you, and this whole process of securing your water rights and supplemental supplies, there's a real efficiency in just having them continue with this particular item so we can just get to work, get it done. We don't have to train a new consultant and get them up to speed with all of these issues that are, as Chair Stallard recognized earlier, are very complicated.
So given your comments, I assume that as our legal counsel, you're okay with us moving it forward?
Yes, absolutely. And I will also point out that you have a red line version of the agreement in your packet. ESA did review those red lines, which are mine. They accepted all of them except one, and on that one, which involves the indemnification provision, we did come up with some compromise language that I'm fine with, and I advise Mr. Bush that we can go ahead and agree to that and move this forward today.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the final version that's on your desk that I dropped off.
All right. Further discussion? Public comment? You want to get up and tell us no? Okay, all right. Then if that's the case, I believe we're ready for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Director Moreno moves.
Second.
Vice Chair Chapman seconds that we adopt the contract for up to $262,108 with ESA to provide designated services as stated in the agenda. Any further discussion? There being none, call the roll, please.
Yes. Director Donna Neville. Aye. Director David Moreno.
Aye.
Chair Tom Stallard.
Aye.
Vice Chair Josh Chapman.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that it passes unanimously. Okay. And we now have to go to the long-range board calendar. Item 7.
Yeah, not too much coming up until our next board meeting is scheduled for April 16 in Davis.
Indeed.
So we'll have the preview of the 2026-27 budget, and then I think that's it as far as right now. I don't know that we have anything else planned. If it doesn't rain anymore, we may have a water transfer agreement to consider, but I'm hoping it'll rain between now and then.
We need snow.
We do need snow.
I mean,
yes.
you want to ski, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to go Monday, but yeah.
I know you. Hey, I'm just looking at my calendar right now, okay? And so next meeting would be in Davis on April 16th, 3 p.m. All right, so that's it for the long-range calendar?
Yep.
And board member comments? David, I know you've got a lot to say.
No comment today.
All right.
Thank you.
Colleague?
Nothing for me today, thank you.
All right. And I'm fresh out of things to say, too. So with that, and with our appreciation to everybody here, thank you so much for all you do to make potable water available to our communities. With that, we're adjourned. Someone took the gavel.
Yeah, what's going on?